was a lot of improper operation of this well field. There was a lot of contaminated water being pushed outside the mining area where it didn't need to be. They were running the whole well field balanced, and in the process of doing that, so they were taking some old laterals that were already mined out and using those as injection wells.
So they're injecting
into an old mining area.
Okay.
And using that for disposal water. You just keep pushing contaminated water further and further outside the controlled area, so that it takes a whole lot more money to try to clean this up, if they have to clean it up.
So far they haven't had to.
So far they haven't had to.
Okay. And you raised some of these issues. What happens when you bring this up with management?
I was told that I wasn't a team player and eventually fired. This water is moving towards Kingsville at 12 foot a year. It'll be a long time before it gets there if it maintains that. But if it happens to get into a channel, it could be at their water wells in next month.
Yeah.
There's no way of knowing if there's an underground channel there.
Mm-hmm.
So I have concerns that the contamination will be low enough that people won't be catching it until it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time someone starts showing radiation poisoning, then your old people and your young people are going to be too far gone to help. The contact towers produce a huge amount of radon gas off the top of them during mining operations, and I feel like that's a safety hazard to people downwind. I don't know how far downwind it would have to go before it would dissipate enough that it wouldn't be a safety hazard. But we did have people that worked inside the plant area, and to my understanding, better than 50% of those guys have liver and kidney problems. I've asked the state health department about this, and they had no answers for me. I went to TNRCC law enforcement in Corpus Christi, explained to them about the mining operation, the problems they were doing, and he told me to come back the next day, and we would go over there and shut the mine down. When I got back the next morning, he told me he was ordered by his bosses not to ever speak to me again or allow me in his office. I asked him at that point, I said, "So you think I'm lying?" He said, "No, I know you're telling the truth, but I can't do anything about it."
When you first raised your concerns about them flooding the well field and injecting into these lateral lines,
and then I got sprayed by a crop duster one morning about 45 minutes before sunrise.
How soon? When is this after you raised your complaints?
This is during when I initially started complaining and stuff.
Yeah.
This is when I started causing some problems and talking to the other operators and trying to get them to operate properly. Then one morning at around 6:45, I got sprayed by a crop duster. Came over the well field and his valves didn't close, and so I got covered with malathion, according to the boll eradication people. The next day, or 2 days later, when our company tried to get the computerized flat path, they were told that they had been lost. I felt it wasn't an accident. To start with, the airplane wasn't even supposed to be off the airport for another 45 minutes. So he was actually illegally flying. And the fact that the computerized flat path was lost, which is what they use to charge the farmers for the spraying, I thought was rather funny. And I soon thereafter started suspecting it wasn't an accident, it was planned.
Now it's been a few years. It's been a decade or so since a lot of this. What brought you back out into public to talk about what you have seen?
Well, I thought we were away from the Kingsville area, and we moved up here to take care of my wife's grandmother, and now I find out they're trying to move in over next to us, and it's the same guy that I had trouble with down in Kingsville, and I know that they can't operate properly, and this area up here can't be mined.
You talking about Goliad and UEC?
The Goliad at UEC.
Okay.
That area cannot be mined properly, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. What's wrong with it?
The water travels too fast every year, and all 4 water sands are interchangeable, so everything will be contaminated at the same time.
It's an unconfined aquifer?
Unconfined aquifer, and each zone is permeable to each other also. I'm a concerned citizen for my neighbors that are going to get their water contaminated. And I don't think I'm going to let it happen if I can do anything about it.
Okay.
And I've done my best to help everybody in Goliad right now. and I'll continue helping them because it's not right to be. Mining cannot be done there safely, in my opinion. And so far, I haven't found anybody in the state that knows more about it than I do, so I'll sit there and argue with them.
What's your background?
Well, I used to work for Exxon. I drilled 22 wells for Exxon when I was in the drilling department. I have 4 records for Exxon for drilling. I was very well known for being able to handle my problems or somebody else's problems. I was well known for being able to go in and take out of control wells and getting them back under control. So I understand drilling, I understand subsurface, and I understand water flow and everything underground. So I don't have a degree, but I have a lot of knowledge.